Hello everybody, Brian back again at Foster Park, doing another walk and talk. This is a place I've been already. A couple episodes ago I was on my bike, started at another point in this area and went out south to an old haunt of mine. Today I'm just going to take the loop. There's a big loop that goes around this golf course. Probably see some people out there playing right now. I come out here a lot. This is a place I like to just wander around, contemplate things. And one thing that I've been thinking about a lot, and I've mentioned this before, is the way the league has changed just in this season alone. Now, if you watched any sports at all this weekend, you should have noticed an uptick in the amount of physical play, amount of potential injury, smacking heads, knots on foreheads, swollen eyeballs, busted knees, arms getting tangled, people throwing each other to the ground. And I'm not even referring to the NFL preseason. If you watch the games this weekend from Friday, yesterday, you should have noticed a lot of awkward defense, awkward, just general play. And if you listen to the talking heads, they'll try to convince you, oh, this is good for the league. This is what I want to see. I want to see these ladies act like they're men. I don't think so. I don't think this is very safe at all. In fact, I don't quite understand where this is kind of coming from, in the sense that I don't believe that what we're seeing on the court is just a case of heightened physical play. These are incredible athletes. They're getting into it. They're really feeling the game. We're approaching the end of the season, making that playoff push, and they're getting into it. They're just putting their all into it. While that may be true, that does not excuse awkward defense, reckless offense, and the officials kind of turning a blind eye to things. Now, a few things happened this weekend I think we should really touch on here. One is the accidental. Sophie Cunningham is out, landed weirdly on her foot, then eventually her knee to the hard surface. Now she's out. I think for the rest of the season, the knee injury. All right, it's going to happen. Such is the case with basketball. However, when you are playing defense and you've got your back to the rim, there is an offensive player with the ball, and you know they're going to make a move to the rim. It's probably not a good idea if you are shorter than that player to be so close up on them that your face is basically up against their shoulder. We saw that yesterday. Natasha Cloud, for whatever reason, thought she had some sort of an advantage over Brianna Jones of the Sun. And, the Dream. Man, what year is this? Of the Dream. And you watch that play, you know what Brianna's going to do. She's going to turn to her left, try to make the shot at the rim. And that's what she does. Twists her torso, catches Natasha in the face. Natasha goes down, holding her nose. I thought it was busted, but no. She survived that one. But it happens all the time. People getting smacked in the face. Then it occurred to me that the defense is just really bad. Now the players are on each other. They're in a decent enough position, but they're not giving themselves enough space to react to a move. Kiki Iriafen got a nasty bump on her forehead. Swelled right away. She got fouled. And even before getting to the free throw line, she had this bubbling dome at the top of her forehead. Nasty. Watched that happen. Watched Layla Lacan of the Sun against the Sky yesterday take one right to the eye. That was, again, incidental. Wasn't intended to happen. She was guarding Angel Reese, and we all know Angel Reese has trouble with, not being awkward when she moves. They bump heads, and her eye, Layla's eye, my goodness, within, 10 seconds, it was swollen and purple. So she was out for the game. After that, we saw Jade Melvin of the Mystics take a really hard block from Sanaya Rivers of the Sun. She goes down, smacks her head on the court. I really, really thought she was going to be in harm's way with that, but no, she was all right, but looked really, really bad. In fact, after the play, Sanaya approached her and gave her a hug, which is a nice thing to do. Good sportsmanship there. But I think the big thing from this weekend happened yesterday. Now, you already know there's going to be problems because if the Sun and the Sky are going to get together for a game, you know there's going to be something nasty going on. Well, there's a play under the rim in the second quarter. Can't remember who it was, but there was clearly a foul. Clearly. Refs don't call it. Tyler Marsh, coach of the Sky, comes running onto the court, cocks back his fist, and he approaches the referee, or the official. He starts yelling at the guy. And naturally, this official, recoils and then throws the guy out. As you probably should if you see some guy running at you with his fist cocked, ready to throw down at you. It was the wildest thing because I've seen coaches get mad. I've seen them go ballistic over missed calls, things like that. Happens all the time. But the way Marsh reacted, it really looked like he was running at this official to knock him out. And the official did the right thing, wasted no time, threw him out. And of course, Marsh explodes, has to be held back by his own team. Now, try not to state the obvious here, but the Sky, not in a good position, well out of the playoffs. They're one of 3 teams, I believe, right now who are. The Sun and the Wings being the other 2. And in this time, when you're that bad, even though things are bleak, the playoffs are not on the horizon, you still need a leader who holds their composure. What happened after that incident was the Sky got immediately better. Now, the announcers would try to claim that the reason behind that is because they saw their coach, exit the court in a dramatic fashion, and now they're playing for the coach. The season's done with. Now they got something to play for. The problem with that is these 2 teams have played already. There's heat between them both. They were already playing for pride. That was there. And if it takes their coach acting foolish to be motivated, my feeling is that that's not a very well coached team. I'm not the biggest fan of Marsh. I don't think he's really shown a lot of good coaching acumen at this point. And when Sorry, I was distracted by something on the golf course there. When the former Dream coach, Tamika, can't remember her name, she's the assistant for Marsh. She took the game over for him. This guy got a lot better. I don't believe it's because they watched Marsh leave. I think it's just because she's better. I didn't think she was that bad with Atlanta. But I think she went in there, had a game plan, got this guy to turn that game into something a little more respectful, or respectable, perhaps. And it made a difference. They were just immediately better. Maybe it's just me being a little too critical of him, because it's not like he has that tendency all the time. It's just that in those moments you have to remain composed. You gotta be a good leader, and he wasn't. Thrown out in the second quarter, really? Because of a missed call? We all know it was missed. What else do you have to prove? Here's the baseball diamonds for Little League. They had some problems over here last year. Someone had gotten into some of the, I think, storage areas and ripped them off, stole a bunch of equipment. And in response, the organization held a bunch of fundraisers to regain the funds that were lost from the theft. It really sucks. I mean, when you're stealing from kids, that's pretty low, obviously. But it's 2024 at that time. What do you expect? Anyways, back to the league. What's all this about? I mean, what's the point? Why am I even bringing this up? It's because I'm going to say something that could be wrong. I've done that plenty of times. I think the league needs to rein in basically everybody. Teach these players how to play actual defense and lose that awkward sort of sense that they carry. Because it's very awkward. It's difficult watching them play sometimes because of how strange it is to see. Because when you watch the NBA for years, and these guys know how to do it. They know how to take a hit. They know how to play defense without putting themselves in harm's way. They understand when to flop. They understand when to exaggerate. It just feels right. But for some reason, these girls just don't get it. Many of them have trouble with that. Nafisa Collier is really good. That's the duh statement of the day. But she's really good at understanding where to position herself defensively. It's funny that also on the team is Alana Smith, and I've talked about her before. It can be difficult watching her because she gets herself wrapped up in players, just completely entangled, and then she drops, increases the likelihood of getting hurt. She hasn't to this point. But man, you look at her face after these plays, it looks like she just went through hell and back. And maybe it is. Maybe it's just that difficult to play against some of these women because of how awkward they are. And that takes me to my next point. Brittany Griner. I know she's getting up there in her basketball old age. I get that. But she is clearly one of the biggest players in the league. One of the biggest physical threats on the court. But when you watch her play, I really am starting to think that she is intending to get herself wrapped up in other players, throw them down, have them increase the likelihood of getting hurt, all to get a call. And then when she doesn't get it, complains. I mean, right away, just complains. My thought is, if you were a better player, you wouldn't have to do that. Watched the Dream against the Lynx. Jeez. There's a play where Griner and Smith were basically playing Twister under the rim. And what Griner does is she'll raise her arms up, knowing full well that there's another arm kind of in the crook of her elbow. And rather than just pulling down and letting her go, she'll clinch and then twist. Yeah, I'm getting distracted again by stuff over here. But yeah, she does this, and every time she does it, it frustrates me. I don't get why these aren't calls more often. And it happened also with the Liberty. She got tangled with somebody, I can't remember who it was. But again, she puts her hands up, kind of holds on in the crook of her elbow to another player's arm, does the twist, spins the person around, and then she claims that she was fouled. No, because you have every opportunity to pull your arms down to release that grip, but as soon as you do that, she's taller than everybody else. Every single player on that court, she's taller than. She would have to realize that when she holds her hands up like that, she's going to get someone caught. But she doesn't let go, gets called for the foul, and then complains. I don't get it. And also, I'm done with her doing these little body checks. So she's going up for a screen, kind of tightens her shoulders, gets her hands down, and then throws her hip at whoever's coming around. She's done that many, many times. She did that to Caitlin a number of games ago. I mean, just leveled her. I just find her to be an increasingly dirty player. You know, her minutes are still there. I'll give her that. She still plays. I don't like watching her play. I think the likelihood of someone getting hit, smacked, bumped, tossed to the ground, clinched, entangled with her is way too high. And in a league where that happens more than it really should, she just makes it worse. She's got to be a better player. In my personal view, beyond that, is when it comes to playoffs, the Dream are a legitimate team. I think now I kind of put them ahead of the Liberty. Can't believe I'm saying that. But if I see them in the playoffs against Minnesota, I'm going to worry. Not just because of how good they are, but because how unnecessarily physical Griner is. And I think it's to compensate for how bad of a player she actually is. There's no reason why she shouldn't be able to do better, to lead scoring, to have good defensive moves, but it's all thrown away to be dirty. So my low points of the weekend thus far: Tyler Marsh, grow up, man. You're the coach of a terrible team who could be better. That's the thing. That team could be a lot better. You got two really good forwards, excellent help around the perimeter, but you stink. I don't think it's necessarily the team. I would not be surprised if Marsh is gone. And let Tamika coach. She took a seat after last season, watched Marsh, the way that, Tebow is doing in Minnesota under Reeve. After that, I'll give a guy a pass, I guess. But when you're the coach, here's what I hate. I already hate technical fouls on coaches. They should know better. They're not even in the game. Cool it down. You're hurting your team. But for him to do what he did yesterday, that's too much. There should be a fine. In fact, here's a hot take for you. If Sophie Cunningham is going to be fined for criticizing officials, for just sharing her opinion, that guy should be suspended for rushing an official, fist cocked, in a violent position like that. I just don't know how you would see it otherwise. But we know how this works. What else is going on in the league? Well, if it were no surprise, I'm very happy that the Lynx have secured a playoff spot. And during this run, they've survived their time without Nafisa. I'm rather happy that they've been doing a nice job gelling together. Jessica Shepard, she's my first, call out, you could say, in my first video. She's just wonderful. Triple-double. Only the second person in the Lynx franchise to do so. And she did it really quick. I mean, one of the fastest triple-doubles in a game, I think, in league history. She's just fantastic. For a Lynx team that struggles under the rim, she is wonderful. Just great. Another funny thing about this weekend was the Lynx had dropped 2 in a row for the first time this season, whereas the Sun were looking to go back-to-back wins for the first time this season. I talk a lot about the mediocre middle. I don't talk much about the low-hanging fruit here. But man, I completely missed Dallas. I said early on, give them some time, they'll find their chemistry. They'll get back up there in the mediocre middle, but no. They're as bad as the sun in the sky. It makes no sense. They got Paige, they got Enrique. What else do they need? Paige scores 40, and they still lose. And it got me thinking about the draft. So if you look at the oncoming young talent, the rookies for next season, you got Lauren Betts, number 1, ranked, UCLA, 6'9", I think, 6'7", somewhere around there, tall. A good presence on the rim. That's what we need more of in the league. But number two is AZ Fudd. Now this is interesting because if Dallas gets the pick, number 1 pick, are they then going to go with Betts or are they going to go with Fudd? And the reason why this is interesting is because AZ is Paige Becker's girlfriend. Do you think they will go for that? Maybe they view Fudd better. She's a Husky. Keep it consistent. I get that. I just find it interesting. I think they could go either way. Let's say they go with Lauren Betts, presuming they have the first pick. Does Paige get mad? Does she make it about her? Something tells me she wouldn't. She'd just be happy that AZ's in the league at all. if I remember right, earlier this season, there was a couple who was on the same team. One of them gets traded, and the other one wasted no time getting on the social media and making a fuss about it. I don't remember who that was. My memory's shot for that. But I swear that happened this season. And the squirrel up in the tree there. I know it's petty to think that way, but I feel it's a possibility. I think in this league, anything's really possible. We have approximately 8 games remaining for most teams. The Lynx are going to go 4 on the road, 4 at home. Their schedule is, I think, doable. I think they could possibly lose 2 of those games, both on the road. If you look at the Dream, their schedule looks really good. Playing the Sun over and over, most of them at home. They're not going to take over number 1, but I think they'll end up number 2. The Liberty, I don't know. Sabrina was out for a game, hurt her foot, considered day-to-day. Brianna's coming back at some point, probably by the end of the month. That helps them out a bit because they're sitting in like 5th place. There's such a tight-knit glut there within the mediocre middle. Anybody can make a move, honestly. But I think it's the Dream's position to lose. Now, if the Liberty drop further, or they just maintain that 5th spot, they obviously lose a home court advantage. Not good for them. That's a team that really deserved to be better. I expected them to go really far. I still think they will when they're fully healthy, but I heard an interesting stat or a situation with the Liberty that I didn't realize. When completely healthy, meaning Brianna, Jonquel, Sabrina, everybody else is there and ready to play, they've only had 1 game together where that occurred. That was the very first game of the season. It's wild. Yet they held on to number 2 pretty much all season. They lost Jonquel for a while. She comes back. They lose Brianna. She's coming back. They're losing Sabrina. I'm sure she'll be back in no time. No big deal. But they definitely could have used her yesterday. Wow. I like their push in the 4th quarter, but geez. That game, side note, that game between the Liberty and the Dream yesterday, that reminded me a lot of watching the Commissioner's Cup championship game. I'm all psyched. I'm ready to watch the Lynx get that cup again, and all of a sudden they just lay an egg. It's like, what is going on? Is this even Minnesota? I don't know what the deal was, but thank goodness that wasn't a regular season game because that was terrible. I might come over here to the little gazebo areas. This is a garden area for the park. Really beautiful. It's a beautiful day, by the way. It's about 70 degrees out here. Lovely. There's a lot of people who come out here to get their pictures done for weddings and dress up in their bridal gowns and suits, get some pictures done in front of the flowers and the scenery and everything. Just a lovely little place. Yeah, I as much as I enjoy watching New York lose, I just feel bad for them. I really do. And I think it's because I respect the team. I respect the franchise. I think the players are great. I think the world of Sabrina and Brianna. I do. I got some yoga going on over there. And they are a threat. I want the Lynx to win. I want them to win every time, obviously. But to know what they're going through, just as a fan of the sport, fan of the league, I understand what it is to lose key players throughout the year. To lose one, they come back, hooray, we're full health. Whoops, someone else got hurt. Now we're down again. I get it. We lost Nafisa, a couple times this year. I know how it feels. And they deserve better. They're a clean team. They're not dirty. They're not embroiled in drama. Because that's the way I look at really the sun and the sky. Both those teams. They're awful. And what do you think of this? So earlier in the year, Caitlin gets plastered basically by I think it was JC Lacey, Sheldon. I think that was her name. She's not on my radar. I forgot her name. So she reacts and is like, what the heck's going on here? She pushes her back. Caitlin pushes her back. And then everybody's out for blood. Marina Mabry comes running across the court, like full sprint, to push down Caitlin. Perfectly okay, apparently. Mabry and Sheldon become villains. For the rest of the game that occurred in, they were both booed. Every time they were at the free throw line, booed. Major boos. So both of them were taking on this sort of villainous sort of role. And they maintained it. A lot of people viewed both of those players as being dirty and not very sportsmanlike. But here's the interesting thing. I think they both knew that, recognized it, and then rather than playing the unapologetic role, something that maybe Angel Reese would have done, they go quiet, and then a number of games down the road, a game between the Fever and the Sun, Sophie goes down, and look who's holding the towel, shielding Sophie, Marina Mabry. And then on social media, everyone's like, oh, she's got such a kind heart. She's really turning it around. She's showing how sportsmanlike she really is. Oh, just wonderful. Okay. They do have other types of history with each other. I believe they've played with each other in Phoenix, if I remember right, for a while. Okay, fine. But what about Sheldon? She gets traded. It's out of nowhere. It wasn't like she was a bad player. She was actually a benefit to the Sun. But she's gone. Mabry shows some heart. Sheldon's gone. I don't know about you. That sounds like a franchise trying to clean up a bit. Maybe I'm up the river with that one. I don't know. Seemed kind of fishy. You like all the puns? River, fish. Dirty players. Haha. Well, I found that interesting. But for my money's worth, the Sun, I think they should really enjoy a change of scenery, change of maybe the name, possibly colors. I made a comment on Facebook, not through this account, through a different one I have, because there was a story about how the WNBA wanted to buy out Connecticut. I say, look, we'll just go ahead and buy you out. Rather than have the owner of the Celtics buy you out, move you to Boston, we'll just buy you out. It's like, That's a lot like saying, you know what? We just don't want you around anymore. Here's your parting gift. Get out of the league. It didn't even have to be that way. Back in the first episode I put out, I talked about how I didn't know who I really liked in the league. I wanted some help with that. The Sun were actually up there. I actually like their name. I like their location. Colors are good. Mascot is junk. Absolute junk. But I like the idea of the team. But man, I'm glad I skipped on them. I chose well. Woo. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen to them. What I do know is they need to go through some change. Whatever it takes. Completely overhaul again. They lost all their best players. Wonder why. They picked up Aaliyah Edwards. In fact, they got her in the exchange for J.C. Lacey Sheldon. To me, that is I think the Mystics kind of took the bad end of that. And I like Washington. And I'll tell you this. I've been watching a lot of Washington basketball. I still think Sonia is one of the best rookies out there. Just by her demeanor. Her know-all. For her know-all. Is that the one I'm thinking of? Wherewithal. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Sorry, I'm on the move. I'm walking and talking. Good thing I'm not chewing gum. But I like the way she handles herself. She's the sort of player I'd want to build a team around. She's young, feisty, serious. A good, solid addition to that team that needed something. They really needed something. Saw those draft picks last season. I think they're turning out really well. Kiki's getting a lot better. Not quite where Sonia is, but really good. Really, my God. I'm sorry about that knot on her head. Ooh. It's like she had a massive blister. That's the way it looked. It was just that huge. About the size of a small cinnamon roll up on that dome. That was, terrible. But I like her too. And I think that's a team I can get behind next season as well. Easily make the playoffs rather than straddling the line between 8 and 9. So I hope they do well. If you're a Mystics fan, you should be very, very happy. But if you like the Wings, it's going to be interesting come draft period. What are you going to go for? About the Sun, where are you going to go? Sky, who's your coach? Big questions for those three teams. But then right above them, here's where things get weird. Los Angeles, Golden State. What are they going to do? Golden State overshot expectations. Doing well. Lost their big player, Kayla Thornton, to injury. Season-ending injury. She'll be back. First year under their belt. Second year. Should expect them to do better. Los Angeles. I don't know what to make of them. I love Kelsey Plum. Call her Plum Dinger for a reason. She's fun. I like her spunk. She's got a spicy attitude. Got a little bit of edge to her. But she's not dirty. That's the thing. Not a dirty player at all. She's got a lot of heart. She's a good player. Dearica Hamby. They're talking about how she might get a little bit of love for the MVP race, and that's fine because it should be an individual effort sort of award. But it's hard to look at her as being MVP when you're basically sharing the reign with another player and your record is terribly mediocre. And it got me thinking about what's going on with Asia Wilson, because, man, as expected, really, really good. I would not be surprised, in fact, man, something's going crazy over here. I don't know if it's birds or squirrels or something, but they're just yelling. Anyways, Asia Wilson, her numbers are incredible. I love watching her play. She's a great leader. I don't know if I would rank her quite above Nafisa in the leadership category. Any other stat, sure, I'll give it to her. But when it comes to leadership, I find her to be just a little, a tad bit behind. Doesn't mean she's not good. Doesn't mean her players can't follow her. It's just, for my money, if I'm building a team around someone, it is a very close race between Nafisa and Asia. I don't know why, but there seems to be buzz around Alicia Gray. Again, great player, really reliable. She's probably, I feel she sits number 2 behind Ryan Howard, at least in Atlanta. She was doing the same thing in the Aces. I mean, think about the Aces. Asia's clearly number 1. She had Alicia Gray, Chelsea Gray, Kelsey Plum, all these great players who's sitting behind Asia. Plum leaves for the Sparks. Says it's her time to move on and start leading her own team. I agree. You should. Alicia Gray leaves, goes to the Dream. Great shooter. Great IQ for basketball. But I don't find her to be the leader of the team. I still think it's Howard's team. Is this MVP material just because her stats are good? I don't think so. I still think it's an Asia-Nafisa race. And as long as Nafisa stays out, the more likely it is that Asia will win. The only thing that could wreck that is how the Aces do going into the playoffs. They've made a massive push. I think they've been the hottest team outside of Atlanta in the past 10 games or so. I think the Aces are pretty much healthy. The Dream, except for Jordan Canada, has been healthy. I'm going to sidestep here because these guys are here. They're a stupid dog. I'm on the golf path right now. Not a lot of action here today. I thought there'd be more people golfing. Some folks back there. But yeah, I still have Nafisa number 1 pick for MVP. But she's got to come back. She can't just sit it out. Although, this is the quandary for her. She's a very strong competitor. If you watched her in the All-Star game, she wanted that MVP. There's no doubt about that. She took that game very seriously. She played it as if it were a legitimate game. And probably to her it was. I think the question is she going to come back to earn the MVP, or is she going to stay away to earn the championship? That's the thing. You could have both. But given that she's been hurt twice so far this season, I wouldn't be surprised if they just keep her sitting for the rest of the regular season. They've locked up number 1. They're not going to give that up. Just keep her sitting. Caitlin's still on the bench. They brought back Angel Reese, even though their season's done with. I don't know. Consider these things how you wish. See what else is happening in the league. Because I'm approaching the end of my walk here. I feel there's something else I wanted to bring up. What I don't do is I don't take notes or anything. I don't have a little slip of paper on me with talking points or anything like that. Just whatever comes to mind. I think what I might do in the future, and I'm getting closer to this because as the season winds down, I don't want to stop making videos because actually what's kind of fun for me is when it gets cold, snowy, and all that stuff, I still do like to do walks. I work, and I've told you this before, but I work in an elementary school. So when we have snow days, which are becoming less frequent, I've noticed. Our weather here in Indiana used to be just blizzardy. If that's even a way to put it, blizzardy. All the time we get just slammed with snow. Foot and a half, whatever. School's down for a week. But here lately, in the past few years, we just haven't been getting much. But when we do, there's something I do like to do, almost as tradition. When we don't have school because of snow, I'll get on my snowsuit, put on my boots, bundle up, and I'll walk from my house to there's a Target near us that I'll walk to, just get some snacks. But sometimes I'll go beyond that, and it's a bit of a longer walk, but there's also a Walmart within general walking distance from us. I'll go there, stock up on snacks or whatever. I'll bring it back home. Just enjoy being at home. What I'll probably do is during that time, I'll do some filming then. Remember one time I did that and there's nobody on the roads. I think it was so bad that we had an emergency, like a level 1 or level 2 or something like that emergency. So when I went out, there wasn't anybody on the roads. All the roads were just iced over. Terrible conditions for driving. But for walking, it was awesome. And if you like that sort of quiet serenity of being on a road by yourself, that's really what it was. Might come down here because there's people hanging over by the equipment. Might be able to hear them over there. I don't want to get in their way. That river's terrible. Muddy, not moving much. Nasty. I wouldn't mind doing a wintertime video for you. I'm not sure what I'll talk about though. Maybe just keep my ear to what's going on in the league. Things in between. Maybe developments for the expansion teams. Things like that. Now what about you? Do you think I have a little walnut here. Do you think it's good to have these expansion teams pop up? So many at once? I don't know. Golden State this season, Toronto next season, Portland, Philadelphia, somebody else. Too many for me to remember at this point, because Detroit, Cleveland, whatever. I don't know if that's really a good thing. As good as the league has been this season with its numbers, I don't know if this is the time to go all in. I just don't see it. I think I'd prefer to be a little more cautious with this. to see if this Caitlyn effect is really going to hold on. It became the Paige effect, which is a good thing. They want that. Every year there should be a so-called effect. Who's coming in that draws eyes, that puts bodies in seats. I think they have a good class coming in, but the question is anybody paying attention? Or is this just smoke and mirrors because it's always been that way? It takes me right back to when I was a staunch hater, a staunch denier of the importance of this league, and by extension, women's sports. And though I admit I was wrong, how many people are going to admit that they were wrong? Maybe they're still right in their minds. I honestly wouldn't blame them. With what I saw this weekend, I think this is indicative of a bigger problem. I'm not convinced everybody in the league is really playing at a high level. I think there's an awkwardness that needs to be shed. I think there is a desperate need for better defense, not tighter defense, not stifling defense. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about just better defense. Where I can watch a player like Natasha Cloud do her best to guard the rim from someone larger than she is and not worry that her head's going to be taken off. That I can watch someone who's big and dominant on the rim, like Brittany Griner, be able to play defense, or more so, be able to play offense under the rim and not intentionally, as we can tell, intentionally wrap up someone and increase the likelihood that they get hurt. The league desperately needs to figure out a way to improve the overall ability of these players. Some of them already have it. Asia's got it. Nafisa's got it. Alyssa Thomas has it. I don't think there's a lot of others who do. The big girls in the league, I don't think they do. If you're a guard and you're tasked at playing defense, find out where your body is versus your, the person you are defending against. Put that hand out. Keep that hand on their back. Put the other hand up. Don't wrap them up. Don't try to give them a hug. Don't try to sniff their earlobe, because you're going to get hurt. I'm tired of watching players get hurt or potentially hurt because they don't know where to put themselves. And I think that's a major problem in this league. Someone, at some point, is going to be seriously injured, possibly a career-ending injury, for no other reason than position, for no other reason than not being able to play defense or offense without being a brute or an ogre. Because right now, this is terrible. The level of play is spotty. Good some places, downright awful in others. And until they get that right, this league's going to be in trouble again. So the sound of that machine back there and my arrival at the parking lot brings the end of this video. Thanks for hanging with me. Questions, concerns, comments, anything, leave them. I'll be sure to respond. Take care.